Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to episode number 41 of the Wealthy Babe podcast. You're in for a doozy, you guys. This is going to just tickle your freaking fancy. You're going to love it. This episode is actually a recording from my previous client, Kari Hurd's podcast, Purpose Unleashed. And she was gracious enough to let me bring it onto my podcast. We had such an epic conversation, and I really wanted more people to get it into their hands, and I wanted more people to hear it and listen to what it is that we talked about and how it was really unfiltered in the conversation that we had. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this. Kari is such a beautiful human. She just left her teaching position and she is now a full-time entrepreneur, and she's at home coaching. And I'm just so proud of the business that she's built and the courageousness that she has had in pursuit of her dreams and in pursuit of what sets her soul on fire, and having the courageousness to burn the boats and really trust in your intuition. She has 2 teenage daughters at home, and she's a single mom, and she knew that teaching world and working for somebody else for, her entire life. And I'm just so insanely proud of who she is and the work that she does in this world. And it has been such an honor to work with her. And what a better way to commemorate our time together by sharing with you guys our epic conversation. And my hope for you guys is that anybody that feels connected to this also connects with her and is able to go and reach out to her and just hear her story and be able to get guidance and support from her. If you are somebody who listens to this and can resonate with her story and jives with her person, she is literally just an angel here on earth. You guys, I can't even say enough beautiful things about her. I just adore the freaking tits out of her. We always have so much fun. So anyways, I'm digressing. You guys are going to get all the magic inside on what we talk about and everything that we dish out. So I'm not going to give you all the deets right now. You're going to get them right away. But I hope that you guys love this. I hope that it's powerful. I hope that you dig it. And if you do, please make sure you tell me, rate and review. Please leave a 5-star review. That would be amazing. And as always, if it's anything less than that, please reach out to me and let me know how I can improve or, what areas I can grow or what you'd love to see more. And if there is something that you're loving and guests that you're digging on or topics that you're receiving so well and you're finding to be super helpful in your business or you're finding them to be super helpful in your life, please let me know. I'm here to help you guys grow your businesses. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the tools and the topics that you need most. So tag me in this, share it on your social medias. It would help me get this work out more. And that's really the whole point of doing all this to begin with, is to help more humans in the world. So I love you guys so much. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this episode. And please stay tuned. If you're not already subscribed to my emails, you can head over to bossybabecoaching.com and you can subscribe on the bottom. I will be having the launch for Luscious Money for the July class coming out this week. So stay tuned, you guys. I know that a lot of you have been asking me when the next round is starting, when the cart's opening up, when you can buy, when you can get in the doors, because the first round was absolutely incredible. It's coming. Promise you guys, it's coming. So that's going to be the best way. Either follow me on the social media, stay up to date with that, or jump on the email list and I'll make sure that all this information and how you can get inside will get out to you. So then you'll have the first dibs and the first information on early bird and can get in and start with the pre-work and everything right away. Other than that, you guys, I love you so much. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this episode and see you on the other side. Bye. I'm Autumn Bensett, founder of the Bossy Babe brand, fitness coach, and serial entrepreneur turned intuitive life and business coach. The Wealthy Babe podcast is for the ambitious, courageous, and spiritually charged up woman in network marketing, craving wealth not only in her bank account, but in every aspect of her life. Get plugged in here each week for authentic and unfiltered conversations from myself and industry leaders who are going to support you and give you all the juicy behind the scenes and real talk around business, spirituality, strong points of view, and doing shit differently. This is a safe space to come undone, be heard, and be given permission to rewrite your own damn rules. So here we go.
All right. Hello, Autumn.
Hello.
How are you?
I love that we're singing our way into this.
I know.
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here. It's so unique having you on the end of the computer for this reason.
Isn't this fun? You're in the hot. I'm the one in the hot seat this time.
I know. So for those of you listening, if you don't know, Autumn is my business coach. And so usually she's asking me all the questions.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this different dynamic. This is fun.
I know. All right. We're just going to start off. Tell my listeners a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Okay. So, by now, my name is Autumn Bensett, and I am a business and a money coach for the online entrepreneur. More specifically, I find myself working with a lot of coaches, whether they're health, life, business, spirituality, variety of coaches online who are working to scale their income. Either some of them are in the beginning stages of business, but a lot of them now in the season are at the point where they're scaling their business and they're wanting to scale their income, and they're wanting to do that from a space of wanting to become a better and more excellent receiver of success and money and pleasure and all of the things. And so I ultimately am helping women and other mothers be able to learn what it's like to be able to have everything that you want, to not have to choose between having a business and having a family, and then also being okay and maneuvering the hurdles and the obstacles and the mindset and all the stuff that kind of comes in with that. I do business coaching as well. So there's strategy, there's, the back end of all of that stuff in how that works. But such a big part of what I do anchors in the energetics work. So I'm just trying to figure out where I was going with my story, where I'm at. Oh yeah, I was introducing where I'm at. Yeah. Basically where this started was about, how many years does this ago now? About 5 years ago now, I started in network marketing. And this was the first time that I was introduced to the idea that I could have my own business. I can be in control, quote unquote, in control of my own money. And I say quote unquote is because, in a network marketing business, you're only so much in control. Like you're still kind of working and being paid by somebody else. But in that moment, I felt empowered. Like I felt like I actually was able to control my own destiny. I could do my own thing. So it wasn't very long after that where I recognized, okay, I'm in university, I'm working a job. These things are not panning out very long like I thought they were going to. When my eyes opened up to this, it changed everything. So there's a lot that has happened in between, and you can listen to the story. You can come find it anywhere on my podcast, other people's, all the things. But essentially what happened is a couple of years later, we went through a situation where it basically left both me and my spouse on our knees in debt, collections, people calling us at every corner, not knowing how we're going to pay for food, not know how we're going to do this, me battling his alcoholism, all these crazy things that started and happened all at the same time. Basically what it was the universe opening up a door to what my purpose actually was. So, kind of taking it back for a minute, there was a lot of stuff that I was doing in my network marketing business, like running trainings, coaching one-on-one, business strategy, social media, content. And the things that I did in between were all about building, because I've had multiple businesses in between, and they were all about utilizing social media and relationships to grow a successful business and to make more money. There's been a lot of work that I've done within the last year that's been around money, has been around particularly receiving through pleasure and success and all of the things, and actually understanding what it means to be an excellent receiver, and how that actually plays such a big part, because as women and as people in general, we very naturally don't want to receive the compliment. We don't want to receive somebody paying for dinner or for, anything. We want to do everything on our own. We don't want anybody to help us with the door. We want to just we have so much pride and ego. And that has been such a big part of my study and my work over the past year. But basically, I transitioned and I really found my purpose because of one of the hardest times in my life, because of one of the things that actually seemed to be the hardest thing, the thing that was going to knock me on my feet, the thing that I didn't know if it was possible to come back from. That's where I met a new version of myself. That's where I met a new level of me. And then it wasn't until, I worked that business for probably I'm still obviously working this business, but I was in that stage of my life, in that season, I'm thinking about it in my head. till I found out I was pregnant. And then I had to meet a new level of myself again when I invested in my coach for the first time, one-on-one, more than I was paying for rent, more than I pay for rent where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole past year had been a totally new journey and growth and expansion in what it means to serve not just women, but mothers, and changing how we understand money and success and business, and being able to give ourselves the things that we want in our life, and being able to remove the expectations or the limitations and the ceilings on the things that we think that we're allowed to have. So we can change it, not just for ourselves, but for our generations to come. So it's been a really cool experience to see what this past, the past 5 years has brought me, but really the past couple years, since things have really transitioned and transformed into me really stepping fully outside of university, outside of work, quitting my job, all that stuff, but then also stepping outside of the network marketing company, outside of the health field, and stepping fully into becoming a business coach, life coach, and then turn business and money coach.
Wow.
I hope that helps.
We could go hours just to hear her story, you guys. Seriously, if you haven't followed her at all, you need to find her and listen to her podcast, because her story is incredible.
You're so sweet.
But I think you tapped on exactly what I was hoping this episode would be about, and that's how you're showing up at each level of the game and sort of honoring where you're at when it's hard. And I know that's something that you and I have really worked on as I'm growing my business. And I know a lot of my listeners and a lot of the women that I work with, it's hard to show up as that best version of yourself, or at that high level version of yourself when shit's hard. That's hard to do. And so how have you sort of navigated that piece of it?
Yeah. And I love this question, because I think this is where we all get tripped up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We all have really big visions. We all have really big desires. We all have a lot of things that we want to do in this world. But when the going gets tough and we get tested in either how bad we want it, how much that we desire it to be in our life, or who we need to be to have it and make it happen, we usually sit down.
Mm-hmm.
We usually run scared. We let fear, we let judgment, we let the potentiality of, well, what if I'm not enough? What if I can't handle it when I get it? What if, what if I make a fool out of myself? What if it doesn't go the way that I wanted to? And we let all these other things get in the way. And yeah, it gets hard. It gets hard. It's hard sometimes scaling a business. It's hard doing something for the first time when you've never done it before. It's hard putting yourself out there when you have family and people behind you that are doubting you and wanting you to fail. Like, it's not always the most easiest thing to do, the thing that is going to grow you, but we always have an opportunity to decide who we want to be. And we have an opportunity to decide what it looks like when we walk through the finish line. And if we want to walk through the finish line, if we want to be that person who goes the distance. And I actually recognize this coming from a health and network, or a health background, let's say that. I think a lot of people can relate to this, because it's a very even if whether you have a business or you don't have a business right now, most of us have done something fitness wise. And so we can relate it to that way. I recognize this when I would be in the gym. There was a day that I was there and I realized I never had finished the rep, right? Like, I had never maybe finished, maybe it was 15 reps. Well, I'd go to 13. Like, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. My arms are hurting. But I told myself that's enough, right? I told myself I can't go any further. I told myself that, this is too hard. Just put it down. It's okay. No one's going to see you. It's fine, right? You can stop that. You can stop that move 10 seconds early. It's fine. You can sit there. That stretch is more needed. And it's not to say these things aren't needed, but we always have an opportunity to decide who we want to be. And a lot of how we show up in some places is how we show up in a lot of places. And I had to look around at all areas of my life and see, okay, in all areas of my life, when things got hard, how did I respond and how did I react? And what was what did I do as a person? What was my reaction? And if it was a workout and it got hard, I would tell myself I didn't need to continue and I was good. If it was, say, my business, I would tell myself, well, that's too hard. That's too scary. Maybe this is happening. Or what if I'm going to get judged? What if someone's going to get on there and something's I let my head go with so many different what ifs that it talks me out of things all of the time. And I never allowed myself to go the distance. I never allowed myself to actually see what was possible. Therefore, I always stayed at the same level. I was always receiving the same type of things and people and stuff into my life. And so what was really important was for me to recognize, what does this next level look like?
Mm-hmm.
How do I show up? What are the beliefs that I have? What are the things that I know to be true? What does going the distance look like? What does that one extra rep look like at this level? And it started somewhere simple as when I got into the gym. I didn't leave there if I did, anytime that thought came up, I gave it a new thought and I'm like, finish out that rep. Even if you are throwing those weights on the floor after, even if you have to shake your arms out and you were so mad because they hurt so bad, I don't care, finish it. It's at a certain point we stop trusting ourselves because we're not being the person that we need to be. And we start to see ourselves that way. And we're like, somewhere along the line, you didn't follow through, you gave up, you quit early. And we start to see that we don't trust ourselves. And if we don't trust ourselves, then we're never going to allow ourselves to do it, because what will happen if you go the distance? Well, do you know that you're going to actually show up for your clients? Do you actually know that you're going to show up for the live videos? Do you know that you're actually going to show up for the business that's now making 10K a month or 20K a month or 50K a month? No, you're not going to show up for it if you can't just show up for yourself in these small ways. So it's important to look at it, not just who you're being when it's easy, right? Not when it's just all the things are coming your way, not when the launches are just effortless, not when the clients are all coming in, not when there's 10s and 20s and 30s and 40s of people jumping onto your live video, not when you're just getting all the things that you want in a way that feels good, but who are you being when life's throwing you lemons, when things are hard, when you're exhausted and your child's losing it and she's teething and she's hating life and you're tired and there's things going on, there's things you need to do, and there's a person you need to show up to be. When life, after I had Louis and Phil had gone into he had gone into the vet. He had an emergency surgery. He had a cone on his head. My cat, if you guys don't know, sorry, I said Phil, and you're like, who the heck is
I love Phil.
Who's Phil with a cone? He's the best. But he went through such a tough time a week that we got home from the hospital. It was like bringing her home, stressed him out so much that he ended up reblocking for the fourth time. He had to undergo an emergency surgery. We almost lost him. I remember changing Louis' diaper, and I almost had to make the decision. I was a week home. I could barely stand to do anything. We had to take him into the vet because I hurt so much down there. And Derek called me, and I almost had to make a decision to put my cat down or to have him, not knowing can we afford this massive surgery? I just brought my husband. Oh my God, we're not married. I brought him. I just brought him home from work full time. I'm supporting him. My baby is a week old. I'm taking 15 clients a week. I just launched a program the next Monday after I gave birth. There's all these things going on. And we always have an opportunity in saying I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can handle that, because we've actually created we create a threshold for ourselves at some point in our life on how much we can handle. And then anytime it kind of gets close to that, we I can't handle it. It's but what happens if you just allow yourself to see if you can? So it's not so much just about who you're showing up when it's easy, right? Well, I know the money's there, so it's easy for me to invest. It's easy for me to come out of my account when the money's there. That's great. But then who are you when it's not? Who are you going to be when the money actually isn't in your account and you still have to stay committed to your contract that you signed? How are you going to still stay committed when you don't know how you're going to pay your next bill, but you still have these big goals in your business? Who are you going to be even when you're tested? Because that's what makes you. So this is a really roundabout answer. Sorry.
No, that was beautiful. But you tapped on something super important. I know that I've learned through our time together, but the importance that has on, or has had for you as a woman, or I know for me, the importance it's had for me just as a woman is separate from my business and even separate from my family, because like you said, it's trusting yourself and creating that trust in yourself and growing just as a human and as a woman. And I think for me, and I don't know if this has been your experience, but for me, increasing that trust in myself has let me put down some of those walls to where I can be more open and grateful for little things like somebody holding the door for me, because I don't need them to. I get to enjoy them, kind of thing. And it seems like a weird, not quite connected thing, but it has been, at least for me, to say, I'm okay. I don't need to do all these things. I just need to show up as my best self and honor who she is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, fully. Trusting in yourself I feel like when you get to the space of being able to trust in you, you access a point of freedom that otherwise you'll never truly feel.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by this is when you access a point of trust in yourself, you know that no matter what happens in your life, you're going to be okay. It's like we walk around feeling like we're these really fragile people and we can't go through anything and we can't experience anything and nothing can happen. And we kind of tiptoe around walking on eggshells and on ice.
Mm-hmm.
We're scared to do anything and have something happen. But the true freedom, and I feel like that's a big reason why, in all honesty, because I don't believe, and this might be polarizing for your audience, but for me, anxiety is not a disease. Anxiousness is an emotion like frustration and anger and happiness. And it's a sign and pointing you towards something that you're not listening within yourself. And for me, if I'm recognizing like I have anxiousness towards something, it's because I'm usually not trusting me, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I want to go to, when I can access this point, when I'm talking about like this trust, this freedom, is if I want to go on a vacation or I want to go on a trip or I want to go across and go to a speaking event, I know that I got me. I know that I'm going to be okay, right? Like I know that I'm supported here. So that's just like one example. But you can have other examples, like if you're investing. For me, I had to have the trust in myself to quit my job and know that I can fully support in myself, like fully support me. I'm still going to be able to pay the bills. I'm still going to be able to do the things, but that is a big reason why people don't. I fear, how are you going to get by? Can you make enough money? Can you make a living? Those aren't questions to me. It's like, can I trust me to always figure it out? Yeah. If I can trust me to always figure it out, then the rest will take care of itself. Like things will always show up. There's always going to be opportunities, situations. If I don't trust me, I'm going to be a basket case full of anxiousness, right? Like I'm going to be a basket case of stress and worry and anxiety. How is this going to happen? How am I going to do this? And I get into my head and out of my heart, and I feel more captive regardless of like what, like if it doesn't matter how much money I have in the bank. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter of anything. It doesn't matter how secure I am. If in my heart, I don't feel like I trust me and I'm in my head, I'm captive. And that's not a space where I can access true freedom and enjoyment in my life. So being able to have this trust in you allows you to be able to experience all the things. It allows you to be able to know that it doesn't matter what you do. If it was put in front of you, whether it's a hardship and it's a lesson and it's something that's extremely difficult for you to move through, that you're given it because you can handle it, that it's not supposed to get past you, that you're supposed to move through it. You're supposed to take it on, hold it, walk with it, see it, and deal with it. And that you're going to be okay, that you are built strong enough to handle it. And on the other side, that this is your greatest strength and growth moment. And it's empowering because we take ourselves from being the victim of like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me and to me and to me? And then we can't get in the space of action or solution. And instead we get to see like, holy shit, I was given this amazing opportunity to move through this. What am I going to do with it? Who do I get to be on the other side of it? Yeah. And we can take it on, not like a negative challenge, but as like a positive challenge in seeing like who we are and what's capable of, like what's possible for us. We want to stay comfortable as humans. It's very natural, right? We want to stay where it's easy and simple and comfortable. It's cozy. There's nobody challenging us. There's no confrontation. But I think as a society and as people, sometimes we get a little too comfortable there. And nothing is wrong with being able to test yourself and to see that if you invest in something, if you purchase something, if you go and get the groceries that you desire from the grocery store, if you pay that bill on time, you're going to be okay. Like the money will come up. You don't need to keep pushing all the things. You don't need to keep telling yourself why you can't actually get that thing at the grocery store, that, or like the organic produce that's maybe an extra $1. That $1 is coming back to you, but you need to trust you that you can be the person ready to receive it. You need to trust yourself that you're going to be the person ready to create it.
Right.
So yeah.
And yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing for me. And I hope that for those of you listening, like that's been just that trust in yourself is so huge. So
it's everything.
huge.
It's everything. It's
so huge.
When you access that, like I said, you access this sense of freedom within yourself that nobody else can give you or create for you. Nothing like money, nothing. It doesn't matter. You can have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and still feel not enough. You can still feel stressed. You can still feel like a victim. You can still feel all the things. You can still feel like it's all going to fall away. But when I think I found this like when I had nothing. I found a sense of trust in myself when like my accounts were at like literally past negative. Like it can't, I literally got a call one time from the bank and they said, you have to pay down this like $3,000 or what it was within the next 24 hours. And if you don't, your accounts are completely getting shut down and everything's like wiped. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. And this was a moment for me, like, oh my God. And it's, in this moment, it's like, I don't believe that anybody has to get to rock bottom to be able to have a breakthrough by any means. You can have a breakthrough and rise above regardless of wherever you're at. But it was in that moment where it was like, I don't have anything else but to do than to trust.
Yeah.
Because
what are you going to do?
I'm okay. I'm going to figure this out. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So I love it. Okay. So I know what the answer to this question is going to be, but how do you do it every day? How do you show up every day? How do you show up when Louie's been up all night teething and you have 15 clients and the cat's sick and the house is a disaster? And for some of the people listening, they've got the 9 to 5. And even if they're not starting a business, like when you're deep in the shit, how do you do it?
Great question. My desire for what I wanted and my vision for the life that I had was always stronger than the other shit in my life. I visualized and held so much space for who I was going to be and what I was going to have that the rest didn't matter. It was a stepping stone. It was temporary. It exists. It's here, but none of it can matter more than what I want. It just can't. And as soon as it starts to matter more, then that's what creates the space and the precedent, the priority in your life. So the excuses create, the priority, the reason why you can't have it are the priority. The dishes are the priority. The other things are the priority. And for me, dishes might still be there. I've had dishes sometimes sit there for 3 days and we have a freaking dishwasher. Derek's at home. It's not that these things can't get done, but they're not the priority to me. My vision for my life is the priority. What I want to create, my self-care. There's certain things that, it's not to say that I live in a freaking pigsty, but it's like, you know what I mean? I don't live like that, but
no, but I think it's who, you've said this to me a million times. It's who you want to be in that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's going to be a moment sometime in those 3 days when you go, okay, who I want to be right now is to have a clean house. I will do that. So it's who you really want to be. But I think you hit the nail on the head, and it's been huge. And I talk with people all the time about just that clarity of a vision and being so super crystal clear on who you want to be, what it is you want, and just not letting anything get in the way of that.
No, it's a combination of that, like knowing what you want, but then also having a really clear idea of what your service and work in the world is to do. Because there is times where things are going to knock you down. There was a time in my bit, Phil is a really big example because we had been going through issues with him since last July. So there's been multiple stays at the vet, multiple blockages, multiple 3 a.m.s where he's crying in pain and he can't pee and there's blood everywhere and we're scraping up blood off the carpet. This happened for a really long time. But I remember when even my grandpa was in the hospital, I had one time brought my work and I set up in the one room in the palliative care and I did a call and I did things in there and I still led my team and I was a network marketing company and I did the things because it's not just about me. It's about my work in the world. And I had to remember and recognize, when am I making it about me and my fears and possible judgment and why I don't want to do something and why this is hard, versus who are the freaking people out there who need me? I need my work. I need my voice. I need what I have to say. There are people out there who are not getting what they need and are going on in their life without this knowledge and information that I have, because I'm making it so much about me that I'm not putting my work out there. And that never sat well with me. So it's like, where are we making it, making it too much about ourselves too.
Wow. I love that. You touched on this, and so we're going to hit here super quick, the importance of self-care. And I know we always use the term self-care super loosely, but how important is it to wrap that in there, to do some of those things daily or weekly or whatever, so that you can continue to show up as that best level of yourself?
When you're saying that, it almost, I'm trying to think of like an analogy or like a visualization. There was something that kind of popped up, and it was almost like what's the right word? What am I calling it? Like a sink, a tap. And you can almost imagine if like it was clogged. Maybe there's like hair and like shitty things in there. It's not going to flow properly, right? It's going to get blocked. It's not going to, you could have it on full blast and it's not going to actually flow out super flowy. It's going to kind of be like trickling out and not consistent. Mm-hmm. So self-care is, like you said, it's a loosely used term now. And so self-care to me is everything from celebrating and taking care, like celebrating your successes and your wins and your accomplishments and who you had been in certain situations to do what you did. Self-care means to me being able to actually, assess when you're having disbeliefs in yourself and shitty stories coming up about why you can't do the things that you're doing, and actually sit with them and harness them and work through them. And sometimes that means crying and releasing and facing things that are hard. Sometimes it's having hard conversations, having hard, talks with yourself, people around you, having to do the things that are hard. That's self-care. That's taking care of you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is, it is having the bath. It is taking care of, your hygiene and yourself, and working out and getting the gym, going to yoga class, taking care of your mind, reading a book, listening to podcasts, doing the things that light your soul on fire and make you feel good. But it's about whatever's going to keep you a clear channel. Sometimes we fill and fill and fill. So sometimes we can do things on autopilot. Like we'll journal, we'll go work out, we'll do the things on autopilot, which aren't really keeping you a clear channel. Sometimes, you'll read the podcast, you'll listen to the podcast, read the book, and you don't integrate it. You don't actually do the questions. You don't actually do the work. Yeah. So self-care, the whole point of taking care of yourself and your being and your energy is to keep you a clear channel to be able to put out into the world what you need to put out in a way that is like most consistent, easy, effortless, flowy, abundant. And it's like when we let all this shit just like bunch up and stay in that like tap, it doesn't matter how full blast we are. There's always going to be, we're not going to be showing up the way that we desire and we want to, and our message isn't going to be received that way. So.
Yep, I love that, because that's one of the ways I've always tried to help people understand self-care, because like we've said a couple of times now, it's so loosely used. I said it has to be something that brings you energy. Yeah. Like not just decompresses you. Because I had a woman the other day, she's like, oh, well, I like to just, like the whole, well, I'm going to binge Netflix. Okay. And that's fine. Not bashing it, but it's probably not bringing you energy. Like there's a difference between turning your mind off for a little while just because you need that versus, what's going to actually fill your energetic cup.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah.
Cool. All right, my love. Any final thoughts for my listeners, how they can find you? Any words of wisdom to send them on their way?
Oh my gosh. Well, words of wisdom. I hope that they got, a lot from this, but I think that knowing your audience and what it is that they're looking to unleash their purpose. They're looking to go after the things that they want. And I know that there's going to be so many amazing episodes that you're providing in already that is going to help them step further into that. But I think that, one thing we were talking about, I was just looking at our little chat and where I said it's safe to be abundant. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what I need to share. Maybe that's the last piece of advice is whether you're a mom or you're a woman or you've been doing this a long time for yourself or you've been committed to careers or jobs and you're kind of getting into this place where you have this tickle and this tingling feeling in you that there's something more for you. I just want to remind you, it's safe to be abundant. It's safe to have the things that you want and you desire, and you might have to show up for it. You might have to prove it. It might be difficult. It might not always be easy, but when you're doing the things that, when you're in alignment with what your soul is calling you to do, it will always feel much more easy than ever waking up to an alarm clock or going to the things that you have to do ever again. So basically, it's safe to be abundant. It's safe to be compensated. It's safe to be your purpose. So, yeah.
Where do we find you, love?
Yes. So come and hang out. You can come join me inside of the Boss Babe Club. It's my free group on Facebook. You can come and hang out with me on my podcast, which is the Wealthy Babe Podcast. You can also come hang out on my Instagram at bossybabe.xo. I really love stories. Or just follow me and be my friend on Facebook. So you can find me on my personal page on Facebook too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yay.
Thanks for being here today, dear.
Thanks, Kari. So much fun.
Talk to you again soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.